Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and very good day to everyone. So I made this video to replace our class, and for this video I will cover chapter 3 part 1. Okay, before that I would like to remind everyone whereby we will have our first test on 23rd November, and the topic that will be covered is from chapter 1 until this chapter, okay, until chapter 3 part 1. To be exact, it will be until if else condition, okay, selection statement under if else statement. Okay, without further ado, let we begin our lesson. So in this chapter we will learn about control structure, sequence structure, operator priority, selection statement. Okay, this one have operator priority has been covered on the previous chapter. Okay, so we will continue on this one, selection statement and repetition statements. So basically selection statement is those if else clause, switch case, while for the repetition is all those while, do while and for statement. Okay, so we will cover on that. Okay, throughout whatever that you have learned throughout this lesson, throughout the discourse, okay, what you already practice is something that what we call as sequential execution, whereby where you write code, right, where you write your code, you write in a statement in every line, at every line. Okay, for example, this is statement 1, this is statement 1 at line number 3, and then let's say there is another statement, okay, at line 4. So normally when you write something like this, each statement will be run sequentially. Okay, for this case, the program will run whatever that you write at line 3 first, and then followed by whatever that you write at line number 4. Okay, so that this is what we call as sequential. Okay, sequential execution. So in this lesson, what you were going to learn is about selection statement and repetition statement. Okay, why you are going to learn those particular lesson? Because it is not necessary that every time that when you run a statement, right, you want to run it sequentially. Okay, let's say I have another statement. There will be time where you want to jump into statement 3 from statement 1. Okay, for example, you have run statement 1, you write something in at line 3, but you want to skip the statement at line number 4. You want to just jump into statement at line 5. So that is possible, okay, in every programming language. So we can do that, we can perform that by either using selection statement, or we can also do it by having a repetition statement. Okay, so we go into the selection statement first. Okay, so okay, before that, okay, there are 3 types of control structure, which is the sequence statement that we are normally practice before this, and then we have selection statement, which we are going to learn. There are 3 types of it, and repetition statement also 3 types. Okay, this is just an example of a sequence structure in a what we call this flowchart form. Okay, whereby we run the first statement and then we run the second statement. Okay, for selection statement, there are three types in Java. There are three types of selection statement. The first one is if, second one is if else, and the last one is switch case. Okay, let me go through into the if statement. If statement is single selection, okay, because it selects or ignores a single selection. Okay, meaning that we don't have any options rather than only one option. Okay, for example, let's say, okay, I make a function for if example. Okay, I create a variable, let's say int, make it double equal to 80.0, and then I write an if statement. If mark equal to 80, okay, so this is an example of a single if statement whereby we only have one option or one choice only, where the choice is if the mark is equal to 80, then it will print out whatever that you put inside the bracket. So in this case, it will print out mark is equal to 80 if it satisfies this condition. Okay, what is the condition? Mark is equal to 80. So in this parenthesis, in this bracket, it will return either true or false. Okay, so this is a boolean. Okay, it will return true or false. So in this case, it will return true lah, because in here at line 12, I have declared mark which is equal to 80. So when it try to validate inside the if statement, it will return true. Why? Because the mark is 80. So in single if statement, we only have one choice. Okay, let's say if the mark is not let's say the value of mark is 90, so we don't have any other option. Okay, so it will not print out anything. It is just blank because we don't have any other condition. We only have one condition or one option or one choice, which is mark is equal to 80. Okay, let me try to run this. So in order to run this, I need to create an instance of week 6. Okay, so it will return this statement, mark is equal to 80. What if I change this to 90? What will happen? So it will print out nothing. Okay, because there is no condition or no statement that cater this value. Okay, so this is a single statement, single if statement. Okay, let's we go through with the second one, which is if else statement. So I create another function. This time we need single if. Okay, so for if else statement, we can have more than one option. Okay, so by right the option will be 2 lah. So let's say this one remain 80. If mark is equal to 80, then it will print out mark is equal to 80. So in if else we have another clause which is the else part. Okay, as opposed to this single if, we only have if statement only. Okay, followed by the bracket, whatever you want to execute lah, if it meets this condition. But for if else, we have the else clause, okay, whereby we can put any statement in case this statement is not satisfied, this value is not satisfied. Okay, let's say this one, I copy into this, mark is not. So by right, when we run this function, okay, if the mark is not equal to 80, it will go to the else part, whereby it will execute mark is not equal to 80. This one I change to 90. Okay, so now it will return mark is not equal to 80. Why? Because it doesn't meet or satisfy this condition, because mark is equal to 90. So it will go to the else clause, then it will execute this statement. Okay, as opposed to the single if example, if put this as 90, so it will print out nothing because we do not cater the condition of 90. But this one, we have a solution whereby it will cater. If the value is not equal to 80, it will go to the else part. So that's why it will print out mark is not equal to 80. Okay, that is the second one. The third one, it should be multi if else. Okay, so this one is just 2 conditions, right? However, we can have multiple conditions. Multi if else. Okay, so as opposed to this one, if else, we can have more than 2. Okay, so what you need to do is the second clause is we put else if. So if whenever mark is equal to 90, so we will print mark is equal to 90. So we can have multiple conditions, okay, by having the else if part or else if clause over here. Okay, so you can also put more than one else if. Okay, let's say this time around you want it to be mark is equal to 100. Okay, however, the last part, okay, it should be only else. Okay, don't put else if at the last clause. Okay, at the last one you just put else only. Okay, so by right normally we don't put any value. You should put mark is not equal to 80, 90 or 100. Yes. Okay, let's try to run this. So mark is equal to 90. Okay, so it will go to this part. Okay. So you can put any condition inside the brackets. Okay, if if it involves any range, okay, let's say you want to put like if the student gets a mark between 80 to 100, then it will print out A, for example. So you need to write something like if it is more than equal to 80, and then the AND operator. Okay, similar like whatever that you have learned in C. Mark is less than or equal to 100. So this time around, it will check the range. Okay, let's say mark is equal to 90. Then it will try to validate, is it 90? Okay, is it 90 is more than or equal to 80? It is true. And then is it 90 is less than or equal to 100, which is also true. So when it satisfies both condition, what I mean both is the left side and the right side, if this is true and this is also true, then it will execute the whatever that you write inside the bracket. So you can put you get an A. Okay. So this one you can also change. Let's say if mark is more than 70 and mark less than or equal to 79. B, for example. Okay, let's try to run this. So you get an A. Why? Because it satisfies this condition, both condition, left and right. 90 is between 80 and 100. Okay, so that is for multi if else. Okay, and then we go for switch statement. Okay, for switch statement, the way you write is a little bit different. Okay, you are not going to write the if else clause. What you're going to write is the switch case statement. Okay, and then case. Okay, please bear in mind, for switch case we cannot use it with any floating or decimal point value. Okay, it can be only integer, it can be char, and it can be string only. Okay, so let's say this one is 90. I change it to int. Okay, because it doesn't accept any floating point. Switch mark. Okay, inside this just put the variable case, let's say 90. Okay, case 90, and then what we are going to do if it is equal to 90, we just print out mark is equal to 90. Okay, so as similar to if else, we can put multiple condition. So let's say another one case is equal to 100. Okay, so the last one that we need to put is the default statement. The default statement is similar to else, okay, in if else clause. Okay, so in switch case, okay, default is similar to else, whereby we put at the bottom. Okay, so normally for default we just put whenever all the condition are not met, so it will go to the default part. Oh, I forgot to put the break statement. Okay, so it meet this condition, case 90, so mark is equal to 90. Okay, so you can also try to change this variable into character. Okay, you can put any character, but for character, please make sure that you put the single quote. Okay, let's say if you want to match whether the character is equal to A, okay, then you put A enclosed with the single quote. Okay, let me try to change this into char letter 1 equal to A, and then let's say we have another character this one is lowercase a. Oh no, never mind, this one is not necessary. Letter 1, so this one we put letter 1. So it will print out letter is equal to A. Okay, this one. Okay, don't put like something like like this, case A, or it won't accept. Okay, but this one is acceptable, is permissible if you write it in if else clause. Okay, so in switch case it doesn't permit any conditional statement like this one. Okay, more than or equal to. Okay, it is not permitted. Okay, if you want to verify a value within a range, okay, like this one, a value within a range within 80 to 100, 90 is within 80 to 100, so you need to use if else instead. You cannot use switch case. Okay, switch case cannot detect any range. Okay, can be used with any range of values. Okay. Okay, so similar to if you want to write or validate any string. Okay, so for string you need to enclose with double quote lah. Okay, so that's the difference. So we are finished on switch case. And we move on to the next one, which is repetition. Okay, so there are three types of repetition, which is while, do while, and for. Okay, before that, let me explain briefly about what is a repetition statement. Okay, so there are times whereby you need to repeat a statement multiple times. Okay, for example, statement 1 you want to repeat 10 times. Okay, you can write it something like statement 1 10 times. It is possible, okay, and permissible. It's nothing wrong with that. But how if that you want to repeat this statement in a large number of repetition, let's say 100 or 1000? So it is not an optimum way to write or to copy paste the statement 100 times or 1000 times. Instead, you can use what we call as repetition statement. So there are three types of repetition statement. Either you can use while, do while, and lastly for loops. Okay, so let me demonstrate how we can write or how we can repeat a statement using a while repetition statement. So let's say we have a variable int number equal to 0. Never mind, let's say just a string sentence hello. So what we want to print out hello 10 times. So how can we do that? We use while. Okay, before that we need to have a counter. Okay, int counter equal to 0. While counter is less than or equal to 10, sentence, and then counter plus plus. So what it will do is it will print out hello 10 times. Okay, so why we need to have another variable, uh, another integer variable over here? So normally we call this variable as counter lah. So it doesn't matter you want to name it as what, but normally we refer this as a counter. Okay, again it's not, it doesn't matter what you not want to name it. Okay, you can also name it as I. Okay, int I. This one also change to I lah. So we need a counter because we want to repeat, because we want to do repetition, right? So in order to count how many repetition, we need to declare an integer variable, okay, to count every statement. Okay, let's say for this one, okay, we start when I is equal to 0. Okay, then it will validate, is it 0 is less than or equal to 10? So the answer is true, right? Okay, so when this statement is true, it will go to it will execute this statement, whereby it will print out hello. Okay, so after that, at the second line over here, I plus plus, just now I is equal to 0, so when we put I plus plus, it will change to 1. Okay, from 0, when we run this statement I plus plus, it will change to 1. Okay, we will increase by 1. So what happened after that, it will go up again. It will go up because this is repetition. Okay, so they will go up again. It will try to validate, is it 1 is less than or equal to 10, which is true. So whenever it is true, it will run again this statement until it reach 10. Okay, is it 10 is less than or equal to 10? I think this one is, this one should be less than only. Okay, not equal. So until it reach I reach at 10, so it will validate, is it 10 less than 10, which is false. So when it is false, it will stop. Okay, we will not repeat whatever inside the bracket. So the correct one is I less than 10. Okay, because we start at 0. Okay, so from 0 until 9, okay, the total is 10. So hello will be 10 times. Okay, so that is for while. And then I will demonstrate on the second one, which is do while. Okay, for do while, it still will do the repetition, but it's a little bit different in terms of how it works. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we need to put do over here. Okay, as opposed to while statement, okay, do while, we need, first thing we need to put the do statement, okay, and then followed by bracket. However, the while statement we put at the bottom. Okay, as opposed to the while, we put at the bottom, and then don't forget the semicolon. If you don't put semicolon, then it will read over here, which means error. Okay, we need to put semicolon. So the second one, how it operates is a little bit different, whereby at the first sequence or the first iteration, it will not verify whether I is less than 10 or not. It will just exactly print out the first sentence. Okay, so that is the main difference. Okay, as opposed to while, before it print this one, it will validate, okay, is it I less than 10, which is correct, which is true, then it will print out this statement. However, for do while, okay, at the first iteration, it will not print out. It will not validate. Okay, what it will do is it will run first this statement. Okay, then it will validate. Is it I less than 10? Okay, so that is the difference how it works. This one we put at, okay, so can okay, so the output is still the same lah, only the difference is the way it works. Okay, so that is for do while. The last one is for loop. Okay, for loop, okay, it's similar with a while statement. However, we can write the what we call is the counter, the condition, and the increment in one bracket, okay, in a single line. So we can start with the first, the counter, int I equal to 0, and then the condition as similar with while, I less than 10, and then the increment over here, I plus plus. We put it in a single line inside one bracket, separated with semicolon. Okay, separated with semicolon. And then we can have this one. Okay, this statement same. Okay, similar with while statement. Okay, we will print out the same. Okay, however, the way we write is different, so it's a bit simplified as compared to while loop, whereby the counter, the condition, and in the increment we put in one place. Okay, but the output is the same. So I think that's it for chapter 3 part 1. I have covered all, but this time I make it short. I just go to the demonstration without going through all the whatever inside the slides. Okay, but basically whatever that I demonstrate over here is something that you have learned in C programming, okay, during C programming. So just consider this as revision lah. And then please bear in mind, our test will be covered until if else only. Okay, until selection segment, which is if else. Okay, there will be no questions on repetition, meaning that while, do while, and for will be not being questioned in the test. Okay, so I wish all of you good luck for the test on 23rd November, this coming Wednesday, and I'll catch you later on next week. Until then, Assalamualaikum and have a nice day.